shining bright, it's time to leave this land. It's fun and full of people that they drag us in your hand. The polar state to catch you and they'll take us to the sea. Just another picture, what makes us fit to free.
Hi, welcome to our first podcast. My name is Shah, and to my right we have
James. Hi.
And to my left,
Matt. Hi.
As you can see, I'm an Arsenal supporter. James.
Liverpool fan.
And Matt.
Man City fan.
And we're here today to basically discuss things about football. Our subject, the topic we're going to be talking about today, is the TalkSport interview, actually two of the TalkSport interviews with Robbie Lyle, otherwise known as Don Robbie. For who doesn't know Don Robbie, and I think there's very few people that don't know him, he's the man that launched AFTV from absolutely nothing. He spent his money, he took a gamble, and he has made the Arsenal Fan TV grow. Okay, he now has over 1.3 million subscribers. I have to say, he's definitely set the mark and allowed other fan TVs to grow. What's the name of the Liverpool Fan TV?
Well, there's a couple. Probably the biggest is the Anfield Wrap. It's done by three lads. They do it very well. It's got something about 10,000 followers, I think. But there are a couple more as well. Spirit Shankly, of course, have their own. But yeah, I mean, there's a few out there as well. The Anfield Wrap's the one I follow and shout out. They literally about 30, 40 of them now going out all over, and they're growing every day by the sounds of things. Thankfully, because of the growth that started with you guys.
Perfect. I was expecting to shout out order, because he reminds us of John Burko.
Yeah, I grew up in Italy. Dad's a Die Cast fan.
Matt, what about you? What about the Man City fan TVs?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really engage with them, to be honest, but I do engage on Facebook with the Man City Facebook pages, which are fan-based Facebook pages, not the official club ones as well. I mean, yeah, there's quite a lively debate goes on there, as does on AFTV.
Absolutely.
About games as they're coming up, games as after they've sometimes lose. I know it's not often these days City lose, but we do sometimes. And it's similar sort of format basically, but not actually in a fan TV.
Well, you deserve that. You're in the position to load up your team. Anyway, but the main reason we're here today is to discuss the TalkSport interview, with Don Robbie. Now, the first one occurred, he was invited onto TalkSport by Simon Jordan and Jim White, and he was interviewed by them. And to be totally honest, I saw that interview and I wanted to make a podcast. I've been thinking about this for a while because I wasn't too happy with how they ambushed and attacked him. I felt it was undeserved. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't need to be here and defend Don Robbie, because he did a perfect job on his own. He can defend himself, and he's completely correct. I personally am an Arsenal supporter, and I follow AFTV religiously. Now, when Simon Jordan was attacking him, saying that he wants his team to lose, that the level of the IQ, he questions the level of the IQ of some of their fans, I think that's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous, because I've watched TalkSport and I actually quite like Simon Jordan because I think he's quite controversial, but he's also very condescending and a hypocrite, if I can, because you can't attack Robbie and accuse him of wanting his team to lose or because that's what's going to get him more hits, when they do exactly the same thing. They ask fans to call in after their team loses and ask them, do you want your manager to stay or do you want him to go? They create controversy. They love it. They work on that, and that's where they get their hits. Now, I left that alone. I thought, there's no way I'm going to come out and say anything. I can't be asked. He doesn't need defending. What's made me do this one, though, is Ray Parlour. invited Robbie onto TalkSport to talk about apparently the Super League and the protests which the Arsenal fans were going to do. Robbie goes on there expecting that. But he got ambushed and attacked. And Ray Parlour accused him of not supporting Arsenal, accusing him of wanting Arsenal to lose. How ridiculous is that? I mean, he goes to every match. Him and most of the components that make up the AFTV. They go to every match home and away. They go abroad. Robbie's gone to even the friendly tournaments, in America, Dubai. He follows them religiously. So I can't understand that. And then when Ray Parlour turned around and said to Robbie, there are more Spurs supporters that follow AFTV than Arsenal supporters, I just started laughing. Because one, I'd like to know exactly where he gets his numbers from. Is that fact-based? I don't think so. So basically, as Robbie said to him, he said, with all due respect, Ray, you're talking rubbish. And that is exactly right.
Did he use those terms?
Yeah. He said to me, he said, with all due respect.
Much politer than I would have been, I think.
No.
Yeah.
Look, you've got to give Robbie credit because Robbie was polite, professional, okay? And he turned around and said to him, I admire and respect you as a player because he's an Arsenal legend. He's part of the Invincibles. But Ray Parlour lost a lot of respect from the fans because of that, yeah? And then what does Ray Parlour do? He comes out with a half-assed apology. So he's
that to save face with the Arsenal fans? It's just basically to save a little bit of face.
It's save face with the press in general.
He's obviously such a massively subscribed to TV channel. So it's not a TV channel, but a football blog, and he said basically, a lot of my fans who liked me as a player are insulted by that, and so he's just basically come out and, as you say, half baked an apology just to save his own face.
It's because someone's told him, his PR manager has come out and told him to say that apology, that he's come out and said it. What he said in the first place is what he actually thinks.
No. I have my thoughts about this, and I don't think it's either of the case. I think Ray Parlour deliberately, ambushed. It was pre-planned. And why was it pre-planned? To get hits. So when Don Robbie turned round to them and said, do you watch any of our blogs, podcasts, call it what you want, excuse me, when we win, neither Ray Parlour nor Simon Jordan answered. So basically, they accuse him, and the fan base, that they only watch him when Arsenal lose. It's a falsehood, and they're doing the same thing.
So it seems to me like they basically just took a sort of a 20-minute briefing basically on AFTV. They made their own opinion. They were obviously given this by people who work for them because they have all this media circus around them.
No, you're wrong. What they done it for was the hits, The Simon Jordan interview with Don Robbie, he got over 270,000 hits.
He was looking for the attention.
Ray Parlour got over 210,000 hits. That was all planned. Yeah. And when they turn around and say to him, you're only looking for the hits, that's why you want your team to lose. What are they looking for?
No, but does Ray Parlour watch AFTV? I mean, does he watch that on a regular basis?
Ray Parlour has been
or does
interviewed.
He just have a portfolio put down in front of him and saying, this is what AFTV is about, and then he just comments on it.
Ray Parlour has been interviewed by Don Robbie. I still remember his Christmassy Arsenal jumper that he had, and he said to Robbie, where's your Christmas Arsenal jumper? Because Robbie wasn't wearing one. Look, Ray Parlour was in America, for the friendlies, and he was in the pub drinking with all the fans, American fans, and AFTV were there, and he's in the background. So Ray Parlour knows AFTV. Ray Parlour, has been on AFTV. He's been interviewed on there. what he did was only for hits.
So it's
As,
For himself, rather. Like, he was doing it for his popularity, his notoriety. Like,
or for TalkSport,
yeah, or for
because they were
TalkSport,
both
like-
on TalkSport,
I think
and
he
they've
was
both
pushed
done
into
that.
it. I think he was pushed into it by TalkSport. I mean, I know we can't really say.
I don't know.
That's speculation. but
That is speculation.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
they say basically, you've got to come out and say something a little bit controversial about
it was
this.
out of order.
Yeah.
It was out
I
of
agree.
order.
I agree. It was out of order, but I don't think he was pushed into it. I genuinely think that's his opinion. I think his stepping back on it, his looking at it a different way and saying, "Look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that," is entirely a lie. I think.
Is that just showing that there's a complete disparity between what the fans' opinion is and what the former footballers' opinions are? Because they have become so far apart. Certainly in my era of watching football, the fact that the players used to go out in the city centre, with fans.
Yeah.
They obviously don't do that anymore.
There was a drinking culture back in the day. That's why
It was a bit of a drinking culture, yeah.
I think
Gascoigne proves that wasn't a good idea.
I think there's a few Arsenal players who were on that one as well,
Yeah, Tony Adams, I saw him once in the club, 2 pints in his hand. But let's leave that aside. Southend, I remember it perfectly, tots. Yeah, but anyway, what we have to remember, okay, is that I think that, the TalkSport platforms, media, okay, mainstream media, feels threatened by AFTV and all the other fan TV clubs. Hold on a second, okay, on YouTube, because they're growing. That is the new form of media. And let's not forget, AFTV has over 1.3 million subscribers. Only subscribers. So,
and that's all just based about Arsenal. Basically, I mean, I know. Obviously, we'll talk about other clubs within that but it will all be in the context of how that relates to Arsenal. Basically, won't be.
Yeah.
Just
Every
general,
single Premier League club has that. Like every single club has, maybe not 1.5, whatever it is.
1.3, just
1.3,
1.3.
1.3. Still, every club has this huge number of subscribers to their own individual thing.
Absolutely, they're growing. They're growing. They're growing. But
they don't want to lose their influence, basically.
No.
What Simon Jordan have to realise, and personally I believe they already realise this, they refuse to accept it maybe, is that before AF Fan TV and all the other fan TVs came along, what would happen is that ordinary fans, after a game, would discuss the game, would analyse the game, probably over a pint. Before the game, they'd give their opinions on what the team should be, what the formation should be, but again, maybe over a pint before they got to the stadium. What's happened today is those same conversations which they used to have but had no platform, a platform has been created for them. So the fans can give their voice, they can voice their opinions, and those opinions have gone global. And they're growing. And I think that is what scares mainstream media.
So you think because they were kind of like basically it was just exclusively the commentary was just done by former players and fans were basically just as you say, just like they were discussing down the pub. They maybe do like a little bit on Twitter, they maybe do a little bit on Facebook or whatever,
This was before Twitter.
Yeah.
Before Twitter and Facebook, they didn't have any platform.
I mean, they have their own
whatsoever.
fanzines, didn't they?
Yeah.
You used to have King of the Kickbacks, for example, at City, which was basically set up essentially in response to Peter Swale's bad management of the club at the time. And I think in a way AFTV is a little bit like that at the moment, but it's like a more modern version of that, which is criticising the current owners.
Liverpool, for instance, did it differently. Like Spiro Shankly was set up to actually go and interact personally with the actual ownership. They were a supporters clan who went there and actually told the actual owners what they needed, how they needed things to be run. And amazingly, they listened. And now they're a part of the actual institution of the club itself.
I'm not too sure they are. I'm not, because if you think about it, if they were, then we wouldn't have had the problem with the Super League.
I agree. That was a case upon itself. That was truly them overreaching and bad ownership all round the board there, I'd say. But I don't think that's an interaction manager. I think that is, as ownership has come out all around the board, I think it's horrible. But in Liverpool especially, that was the owner overreaching.
Well, they had a recent survey which came out, and basically the big six, if you like to call them that, they all scored pretty low on that index of interaction with their fans.
Yeah.
And maybe not so much in the community. Obviously, the community project's done by all these clubs, but definitely in that absolute engagement with the fans. And I don't think this Super League would ever have come out if they'd consult the fans, because they would have known what the reaction was going to be, because everybody, 99% of fans would have said, that is absolutely madness. That is not football, you know. And you know, I mean, I know what Guardiola's statement about it was, which is basically, if there's no real competition in terms of you can't get relegated, there's no jeopardy involved.
Yeah, I mean, the players said the same thing. Yeah. The players, even the managers, they came out and said, so
we were talking before about the disparity between former footballers and the fans, because fans are kind of, you know, they haven't had a voice for such a long time, really, that's accessible to everybody. And now you look at it, that also the players have a distinct different opinion to the owners. I guess they always have, but with this, the formation of the Super League was, I mean, that just shows the fans didn't want it, the players didn't want it, and the only people who wanted it really were the wealthy owners.
It was a cash grab.
Yeah.
But the owners knew that the fans didn't want it. They'd been working on it. They'd been testing the waters, okay, for a few years, and the feedback was no, we don't want it. They went ahead. All the same.
We're talking about billions and billions of pounds. It's a ridiculous sum of money. And they just saw the dollar signs in their eyes.
Is it different though in the Premier League? The clubs in the Premier League that wanted to form this to the clubs in Spain and Italy, because in Spain certainly they elect their president, don't they? So you've got the two.
Well, it depends. Not Real Madrid.
So Perez is elected. He's elected.
The president.
He's elected. So essentially he says, "Oh, I've got a mandate here to do this because they elected me." I said, "I'm bringing in these Galacticos again, and basically we'll build a Real Madrid team of old. And we need this format to do it."
They wanted the American franchise. Okay, and that apparently was suggested and pushed by the Glazers. What they didn't realise is you cannot bring the American franchise, which works in America. You can't bring it. It does work.
Yeah, it's probably a reason.
It works because they're tiny based in America, whereas football is global.
Exactly.
Football is all over the world. You can't say my country's going to do this and the rest of you, or screw the rest of you. Apologise.
Just correct yourself.
That's €5 to charity.
€5 to charity. Happy
€5 to charity.
But you can't turn around and say, this is my way, you guys do this or nothing. Football's a global enterprise, and people have to accept that and make it grow from the roots up, not from top trickle down. Trickle down doesn't work.
Absolutely.
Grow it from the ground up and build. And essentially, the fans came out and were against it, and they were listened to in the end. And I like that.
Well, apparently, and we're going to leave you on this, but apparently the Big Six, or so-called Big Six, because even though I'm an Arsenal fan, I don't believe that today you can call us one of the Big Six.
No. Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing in a way, isn't it? Because they say that the Big Six isn't a set object. You know, it's like basically.
Nor was Leicester part of the Big Six 2 years ago.
When it was the Big Four, when it was the Big Four, that was essentially a closed club for over a decade.
I want a Big 20.
Hold on, but the Big Six, the Big Six today isn't judged on football. It's judged on their marketing, global marketing capabilities.
No, that is probably true.
That is what it's judged on.
So you look at well, Arsenal are always going to have a big following. I mean, they're historically the longest surviving club in the top flight. They've always been in or around competitions.
Yeah.
Maybe not always getting trophies, but they have. I mean, they won the FA Cup last year, so
But we're a mid-table club at the moment.
Yeah, but you won a trophy. I mean,
So
We're a mid-table. Last 2 years, we're a mid-table club.
There are like
We're not big six.
90 odd other football league teams that won't win a trophy every season. It's
And that's fair enough.
it's just one of those things. Arsenal are always in the mix. If
Yeah.
not winning, they're somewhere around there. And for all those other fans, if you look at like Leeds fans basically, who had a team that was in there, they won the last league when it was the football league, and then they were in the Champions League semi-finals,
And then they went bankrupt.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's not. I wouldn't follow that example.
You look at those fans. You look
yeah.
at Sunderland fans. Sunderland now in the third tier, just like City were 2 decades ago. There's this, and also all those other clubs like Lincoln City. Doing really well this season, but those fans they don't expect their club to win a trophy every year. But yeah, it's,
Well,
but they're still football fans, aren't they?
But it is a different kettle of fish. But anyway, let's cut off this segment, podcast, okay, blog, however you call it nowadays. Okay, with one last point. Rumour has it, what I've been reading, okay, what the news is that the Big Six, again, we're part of the Big Six apparently, are going to involve the fans at boardroom level. But that is another conversation. And we'll see you soon on another time when we'll be discussing that.
Is that going to be about the German model by any chance?
I haven't read up too much about it.
On the day.
I'm not like the cat out of the bag, am I?
I don't know. I can't say. So from me, Shah, thank you for watching. Okay, put your comments underneath, and I'll see you soon.
Yep. Thanks very much for watching, and up the Reds.
Thanks if you listened.